beating Clinton-Graceville 37-22 in kind of a twilight game, I guess. They started in late afternoon and probably finished in early evening, right, Coach?
Well, we started at 4:15, and a number of parents I know thought it started a little later. And when we got down there, Craig, we were warming up in a field, and the Clinton-Graceville team came on almost 15 minutes before the game started. And I thought that was a little early because most teams don't get on quite that soon. I asked the coach, I said, Coach, now it's a 4:15 game, isn't it? He said, no, it's a 4 o'clock game. So I said, wow, we're planning at 4:15, so we had to kind of hurry things up. And then when their athletic director came, I asked him, because I was sure it said 4:15 on the contract. And I asked him, I said, what time's your game start today? I said, is it 4:15 or 4? And he said, no, it's 4:15. So he forgot to let his coach know, so they got there a little earlier than they would probably wanted to. But at least that game started on time and got done before the sun set. So.
It's a little communication problem there, Coach.
There must have been.
All right, let's talk about the way the game started. It was a battle for a while. You had a tough time getting on top of them. Second quarter, finally got a couple of touchdowns in, but it was a pretty competitive first half.
It was. The score was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, and they moved the ball, brought it down the field, and both defenses held. And that was about the end of the first quarter, and they scored first in the second quarter, marched the ball down the field and scored on us. And it was kind of a wake-up call, I think, for us, that we held them on the extra point and just knew that we had to buckle down and play football for the rest of the day. And we came back in the second quarter with 2 touchdowns, and both of them to David Folden. One was on a 10-yard run, and then we threw to Olstead for the extra point. And then the second touchdown was a David Folden 12-yard pass from Selvig. So it was nice to have the lead 14-6. We thought probably ourselves it should have been higher, but we just had we knew it was a very important game, because if we lost the game at Clinton-Graceville, it would make a drastic change for us in the seeding process. So at least we came out on top. It was hard for us not to look forward to the Chicago-Alberta game coming on Wednesday night, which would be our biggest game of the season. But all in all, I guess we were satisfied with what happened yesterday.
David Folden found the end zone 4 times yesterday. I think he had 3 against Ashby. Is he on schedule here to set a record for touchdowns scored in a season and a career? Do you keep those kind of stats?
Well, we don't really keep that many stats. We keep them game by game, and we keep the season summary. We haven't really dug out that many career statistics, but he, whenever we give it to him close to the goal line, it seems like he finds it, Craig, and we don't always, plan on having him score the touchdowns all the time. It's just a matter of he just has that ability to find the line, and that's really a credit to him, because whether it's in the air or ground, he just knows where that goal line is and goes for it.
The amazing thing to me about that stat is the fact that in those situations, the defense has got to be thinking, okay, they're going to give it to Folden, because that's what has happened. He's been so successful down near the goal line and within 20 yards of the goal line even. So he's not only beating the defense to the end zone, but he's beating a defense that's probably on top of the situation and thinking, watch Folden.
Right. They definitely have to key on him when he's in the backfield. But he's just effective coming out of the backfield. So, yeah, that's really a credit to him. He's got good speed. And when we split him out, too, he's very difficult to cover. We can put our own guys on him, and it's very hard to do. So he's got quickness and speed, and you get a quarterback who can throw the ball and know where he's going to be. It's very difficult to stop. I've always said in nine-man football, if you have a good quarterback, you have a good end, you really can't stop him unless you double team and get extra help.
I know you've had some excellent backs in the past years, but I don't remember you using back so much as a receiver in a season. Maybe you have, but has he been the best at that out of the backfield for you?
He's got the good speed coming out of the backfield and good quickness. In fact, on some of our dive plays, we just can't get the snap and turn around fast enough before he's there. So he has to even take a jab step or a delayed in coming across. So, if the hole is there, by the time, just a second or two, he'll be through there in a hurry.
And that's an area where you've seen some great improvement since day one. The holes are there. Your line has just been doing some great blocking for you. They've made some tremendous strides since the opening part of the season.
Yeah, and our line is, we got Michael Levang at the end, and Ryan Erkenbrack now. We made the switch to him at the end, and He's a good job blocking on the right side. In the middle, we got Peter Swenson, our center, and then Andy Newton, who's had an ankle sprain at the right guard spot. Ryan Prosser came in last week against Ashby and filled a job for us at the right guard spot, and then Andy Newton come back now. And then we got Ryan Voster on the left guard spot, and so we feel we're just as strong on the right side now as we're on the left, and can run not always to a Michael Levang side and Voster side, but also come back to the Newton-Erkenbach side. And so we're pleased with the progress that our line has been making. We continue to work on our blocking and our technique every week, so it becomes a habit. And I think they've just been getting better every game.
You, in that game yesterday, after leading 14-6 at halftime, came up with 10 in the third quarter and did get a little more breathing room there, a little more comfortable situation for the Comets. Were you able to capitalize on any turnovers at all that keyed you?
Right. It was 14-6 at halftime, and they scored first with the first touchdown, getting 6 points ahead of us, 6-0, and then we scored the next 37. So we were able to capitalize on a missed snap punt to the punter, and it was off to the side, and so he ran back in the end zone and took a safety. So that we got the 2 points.
How about the Comets? Were you yourself, were you able to control the football without any problem, or did you have some turnover problems also?
Well, we did have 3 fumbles, but they came more so towards the end of the game. We had 226 yards rushing to their 85, and so when we got behind, it's the temptation for us, Craig, is to go for it all at once and to get it back so quickly and to spread it out, and we decided just to play a conservative game, be patient, run our type of offense, and that's what we did. And in the second quarter, we finally decided to do that, and we just moved the ball down the field and coming back on just powers and dives and counters and sweeps and so on, just a little everything, and break it up with a pass once in a while. We did have a number of key fourth downs yesterday's, key fourth downs, and most of them were passes to Mike Olstead, who is our flanker and does an excellent job catching the football. I would say of all the receivers we got, Craig, he's probably the best with regards to catching the football. If it's anywhere near, he's got it. And it's nice to just have that. He's a good blocker. And he's also our second-string quarterback. Towards the end of the game, he went in and I let him call his own plays, and he'd never played quarterback for us before, and ran the ball in for himself on a 22-yard quarterback scramble, so that for our final touchdown. So it's nice to have give him a little experience back there in case we'd ever need to give David Selvig a couple plays to rest.
And David continues to just execute the offense tremendously.
He does. We all got things to work on. We want him to hold the ball in a little tighter when he scrambles, not carry it like a loaf of bread a couple times yesterday, and he'll be working on that. But he's an accurate passer, and even had 25 yards rushing yesterday. So he's in the positive department. We want to see. We think he's got the capability of scrambling out of the backfield, not just sitting in the pocket. And when the receivers aren't open, he doesn't throw the ball. So we didn't have any interceptions yesterday, and that was key. We didn't have any fumbles at key times. And when you're playing a team that is good athletes like Clinton-Graceville has, we want to certainly minimize our mistakes.
When you had the big lead, did Clinton-Graceville attempt to open it up offensively, go to the air, and if so, did you feel you had pretty good pressure and good coverage?
Well, I thought they were a little more conservative than I probably would have been, but they did go to the air, and they did have, as far as passing goes, 65 yards passing. They attempted 12 and completed 4, and we knew that this number 80 was their best receiver, and that when they needed passing yards, they would go to him. And they found him a couple times, and other than that, I thought our defense did a good job. Mike Olstead had a key interception on one of their drives to stop them on the 5-yard line, and that was big because the score was 8-6 at the time, and they got down to the goal line, 5-yard line, third down situation. We're going to throw their flanker, and he stepped in front and picked off a pass, so that killed one of their drives. So we're pleased with our defensive secondary has been a concern for us, and they're coming along fine, I think.
You have a big game Wednesday, obviously. Chicago, Alberta, top ranked in the state. They came up with a big win last night over Wheaton. And since you had an afternoon start to your game, did that allow you to get a first-hand look at Chicago last night?
Yeah, we went and watched them last night, and I think everybody was surprised that Chicago handled Wheaton the way they did. But they're a very physical team. They have 3 guys on the inside, I think, that are as good as any team around, whether they're 9 or 11. They're big Schmigdahl and these other 2 guys. They have the core of their offense is the center and the 2 guards, and plus their tight ends they got good size and speed. They're just all around just a good football team, Craig, and Wheaton found out how hard they hit, and they deserve to be ranked number 1 in the state because they're just an excellent football team.
And when you scout a team like that and you come away from an impressive showing like that, you must come back shaking your head. What are we going to do against this team?
Well, that's just it. We try to figure out what in the world we're going to try and do. And we're going to have our work cut out for us in the line. I think that's what they rely on. Find some way to maybe do some stunts on the inside and not play them straight up and just do some other things in crossing and blitzing and maybe do a little what we call lightning, but it's definitely a question mark, I'll tell you that.
And it is a very important game. Explain where you're sitting right now when we look at the seeding possibilities and the conference situation.
Well, there are 13 teams in our section, and Chicago, Alberta is the only undefeated team in this section right now at 7-0. We're at 6-1. Wheaton is 5-2, and Verndale is 5-2. And after that, it I think goes to Hancock at possibly 4-4. I think they're done with their season now. And from there on, Clinton-Graceville, Herman, Norcross, and Underwood, and Ashby. In the other conference, in the northeast there, part of our section, Nevis lost to Cromwell yesterday, 28-0. I think that's their 3rd loss, but I think it's their 2nd loss in the conference. Cromwell will come out and be the champion in that conference. Pillager also, I believe, has 2 losses. No, they probably play Cromwell next week. But they either have 1 or 2 losses. So Cromwell will be the champion, and then Pillager and Nevis will probably tie for runner-up, giving them a top seed. So if they're a top seed, then they get thrown in the hat, and we just vote on those top seeds. If they're a conference champion or a conference runner-up, a co or try, they're considered a top seed. And so all the top seeds then are named, and then teams rank those top seeds, whether it's 2 or 6 or 8. And the way it looks now is that Nevis and Pillager will have top seeds at their 5-2 record. 5-3 record for Nevis, and I think Pillager could also be 5-3. They'll probably tie it runner-up up there in the conference. And then down here, Chicago, Alberta will definitely have a top seed. But many things can happen. If we would happen to beat Chicago, Alberta, then we would tie with Chicago, Alberta for the conference championship. They'd be co-champions, and then Verndale and Wheaton would be co-runner-up. If we would lose to Chicago, Alberta, and assuming that Verndale and Wheaton win their last 2 games, I think Wheaton plays Ashby and Verndale plays Underwood. If we would lose to Chicago, Alberta, then Chicago, Alberta would win the conference championship at 8-0, be outright champion, and then Verndale, Hillcrest, and Wheaton would be tied at 6-2 because we just beat each other. So we would also have the champion then, Chicago, Alberta, and then the other 3 schools, Wheaton, Verndale, and Hillcrest, then would also have top seeds.
Which doesn't guarantee a home game.
No, it doesn't. It all depends on how the seeding would turn out.
You have to be 1 or 2, right, to get the home game?
No, 1 through 4.
Okay, 1 or 2 in your half. So, won't 2 of the teams? And see, now this is a confusing section.
Okay,
isn't it? I mean, this is probably the most confusing one that I have to deal with. But are there only 2 teams from your conference that will get one of those top 4 seeds, or is it possible to get 3 or 4?
It's possible to get all 4.
Okay.
Depends on how the rating comes out. Coaches vote. We don't go by records.
Yeah.
But if Chicago, Alberta is 8-0 and Hillcrest, Wheaton, and Verndale are 6-2, and Nevis and Pillager are 5-3, the chances are we would probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Nevis and Pillager get 5 and 6. But we don't know.
Okay.
It all depends on what happens in the last week of the season.
Isn't that funny how that works? I mean, here we go through 7 weeks. You'd think we'd have a clear picture, but we don't. Not really. And are there 8 teams total that make the playoffs in your section?
There'll be 5 teams that wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
And we can't, say who those 5 teams are right now because we just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, the Chicago, Alberta coaches and the Wheaton coaches were at our football game, though, yesterday, watching, and I know they were talking about our number 86, Michael Levang, our defensive end. Really tough on that side. He led our team in tackles at 20 yesterday, Craig, and just, he can get the tackle on the other side of the field. He just is that aggressive with the ball and like going for the ball, rather. And so I wish we had about 4 or 5 of them so we could spread them out. So they know he's going to play on the wide side of the field, and our other guys really got to step up, and because they do have the ability, and they've all had good games, and they're all capable of playing very good football. So we're going to have our best game of the season on Wednesday.
20 tackles.
20. He was in on 12. And we, anytime he's in on an assist, we count that as a half a tackle, and when he has an unassisted one, it's 8 or a full tackles. And he had 8 unassisted tackles yesterday, and the nearest guy to him was Fulton with 3. So he's a force there on defense.
Definitely. Well, Coach, thank you very much for being with us this morning. You have a good weekend.
We'll do that, Craig. Thank you. We had fun in Friday morning. We took our 4 football captains and the 2 cheerleading captains to Morning Sun.
That was great.
And we visited the kindergarten class and showed them how it was football week at Morning Sun. Every week they have something during the fall that they celebrate, like 1 week there'd be leaves changing color and different things that happen in the fall, and it was football, so we get invited to come and visit their class, so I got to play a little catch with the Morning Sun kids.
Outstanding. All right.
Showed them how the football player was dressed and showed them all the equipment.
I see Jeffrey here has his pads on.
Yeah, the toughest thing that we have, Greg, yesterday he gets all dressed up. He's only 5 years old, but he's there along the sidelines, and when we're up 37-6, he really doesn't. The toughest decision I make is try to explain to him why he can't get out there and play.
You got to wait about 10 years, right?
That's right.
Okay. Coach Richard Risbrudt of the Hillcrest Comets joining us on our Coaches Show this morning from Perkins Family Restaurant. We'll come back. We're going to talk some